News 8's Matt Barcaro live from Harrisburg's Shipoke neighborhood.
Janelle, it is amazing to see what happens when the Susquehanna spills just one block inland, as it did in Shipoke. Obviously, you can see the damage, but you can also smell the damage. This is sour, soggy smell coming from these homes. And what is happening here is happening also on the other side of the river. So we wanted to go back to a place where we reported frequently during the flood to see what it takes to bring just one block back on its feet.
When it's angry, the Yellow Breeches Creek makes sure you know it. And last week it certainly did, quickly rolling up Bridge Street in New Cumberland. The town is no stranger to a flood, of course, but no welcomer of one either. Those who waited too long to pack waded through the water, barely holding their valuables high enough to keep dry. But floods, if anything, are reliable. They eventually will recede. And the Yellow Breeches went back home, leaving behind a lot of work to get the first block of Bridge Street looking like this. First, the street had to endure an arduous scrubbing down. The film of mud, a reminder of the flood, had to come off. And to help, a team of firefighters, normally based 100 miles away in Huntington.
Pretty much a brotherhood. If our brothers need help, we're there for them.
And so they washed away the visible signs of the flood with what the street a day before did not need: water. The next thing on the block that needed fixing, the businesses, the moneymakers, and community hangouts. And that's why Nick's 114 Cafe has been bustling. In its 20 years, Nick's has now withstood 3 floods. And this one?
Maybe one of the worst.
They ripped up the tables, the bar, and emptied the freezers the night before the flood. But they couldn't save everything.
Of course I don't like it, but I know it's inevitable, and we just gotta struggle through it and make it better next time.
The employees, normally taking lunch orders now, instead took out the trash, anything the water touched. The restaurant is expected to reopen in 2.5 weeks.
No place better than New Cumberland.
Even with this happening?
Yep.
But a few doors down, Sandra Mills just can't go through it again. The stress, the fear, the panic is too much.
I know I'm not coming back here. I can't.
The next way the block recovered is by cleaning up the homes, and in Sandra's case, moving on.
Everything's going. It's got to go. I'm not looking through it. I'm bagging it up and I'm tossing it. I'll worry about what I lost later.
Her home took on so much water, she's not sure if she can salvage anything of value. A relative newcomer to the block, she underestimated the Yellow Breeches' abilities and did not move anything to higher ground.
I didn't know it was coming so fast. I had no idea.
Floating somewhere in the basement are things that seem silly to cry over. Her mother's Elvis collection, her granddaughter's coloring books, an old computer. But it hurts because it's all her stuff, and she knows next time to buy renter's insurance. The block needed to have electricity again. PPL crews tried in earnest to flip on all the switches, but by Monday, much of the block did not have lights. So many electric boxes had been underwater, they need to be individually checked before the power can be restored. The road needed to be reopened, but for that to happen, the Iron Bridge, which was rehabbed less than 2 years ago, required the help of an inspector to make sure the flood did not do any damage. Slowly but surely, Bridge Street is rebounding. Sam Hendy is hoping to turn on his gas pumps in a few days. This was his first flood. All 35 cars are back on the used car lot. They were all driven a few streets away before the flood, and now returned are perhaps the cleanest things on the block. But the grass is still painted with mud. The piles of soggy trash still clutter the yards. And water still sits out of view from the passers-by. So just as Bridge Street is getting back to normal, it is not there yet.
And there are a lot of streets like Bridge Street throughout the Susquehanna Valley, a lot of similar types of cleanup going on, everyone hoping that normal comes soon. Ron and Janelle.
All right, Matt, thank you.
As we go to the break now, some of the thousands of you local photos sent in by News 8 viewers.